Building your LinkedIn profile is a gradual process. Hey, I am Chuck the Bureaucrat, and I've been using LinkedIn pretty heavily over the last year and a half. So what I want to do is I want to share some of my observations with you to help you as you go on your own journey. And just so you've got an idea of where I'm going with this video, I'm going to talk about three things: building your network, timing when to get your free LinkedIn premium account, and some common interactions that you're going to have through LinkedIn. Before I get into all that, I want to say that as social media platforms go, I really like LinkedIn because it's professional. People seem to be careful about the posts that they make, and fights generally don't break out in public. Plus, it's not strictly a job hunting site. It's more like Facebook for your coworkers. But at the same time, I am not a LinkedIn power user by any stretch of the imagination. So if you really want to dig into the features that are available with this system, there's plenty of people who can help you with that. I'm more interested in thinking about how to fit LinkedIn into your personal military transition. Of course, the obvious thing is that this is a social media site. At its core, you have to connect with people to define your personal network. And that immediately leads to one of the ways that LinkedIn is different than other social media sites. There's two ways you can link with someone on LinkedIn. You can connect with them or follow them. The basic difference is that if you follow someone, you can see their content, but they can't see yours. If you connect, you can see their content and they can see your content. It's a two-way street. Now, you can follow anybody that you want, but if you want to connect, you've got to get the other person to accept the connection request. Obviously, I want folks like you to see my content, so I'm asking for connections all the time. But here is the interesting thing about LinkedIn. They only let you request a connection with about 100 people every week. I have never gotten more than 10 connection requests accepted in a single day. So building your LinkedIn network is a grind. You have to do it every single day, or at least lots of days. And here's something else about these connection requests. LinkedIn will not let you have too many open requests. I'm not sure it's a hard and fast rule, and I'm not sure what the exact number is, but if you get into the thousands of unaccepted requests, then LinkedIn puts a damper on new requests until you go in and withdraw some of those old requests. With those limitations in mind, it's important to understand some of the common behaviors on LinkedIn. On one hand, there's people who log in, post, connect, respond to messages every single day. I find that people like this quickly join your network if you ask them. And then there are people who have a LinkedIn account, but they never really log in. That might be you, but more importantly, it also might be a sizable portion of your real life network. I mean, think about it. The people that you work with every day, they got jobs, so they're not exactly cruising around on LinkedIn all the time. But so what? Well, if your goal is to mirror your real life network on LinkedIn, you're going to have to get started early. Not just because it takes time to make connections, but because it might be months before your battle buddy from back at the 10th mountain decides to log in and even notices that you sent him a request. All of this means that you're going to have to start to work on building your network long before some transition assistance person recommends that you do it. In fact, you got to build your LinkedIn network before you really know what you're going to do with it. Okay. As a transitioning service member, LinkedIn provides a free 1-year subscription to LinkedIn Premier. All you got to do is go to this website, put in some information, and you are up and running. Now, personally, I wasn't blown away by LinkedIn Premier. maybe because I'm not a power user, but there was one feature that I really liked. You could see who had looked at your account. And normally, LinkedIn just teases this at you in your notifications. Now, while I found this feature interesting, it was not particularly useful to me. My goal was to attract more connections, so most of the people who looked at my account had just gotten a connection request from me, and they were thinking, is this guy for real? But that doesn't mean that it wouldn't be useful for you. Depending on how much energy you want to put into your job search, what you can do is you can reach out to strangers who might look at your account. They might have job opportunities or be looking for somebody with your kind of skills. So all of that brings us to the question of when is the right time in your transition to apply for this free LinkedIn Premier account? My thought is you want to leverage it in the last 8 to 10 months of your transition. I certainly wouldn't sign up if you're years away from transition. I just don't think you'd get the benefit from it. But I also think that you shouldn't wait until after you're out. Okay, the last thing to touch on is some of the common characters who are going to be messaging you on LinkedIn. Thankfully, you almost never see those young ladies who are just curious how you're doing. But you are going to get messages from people who are offering financial advice or have some sort of vague interest in interviewing you, and then it turns into a sales pitch. And there's going to be more than one person who's minting and trying to promote their own crypto. In general, I find these people pretty harmless, and it's really easy to make them just go away. So don't let people like that discourage you from getting out there. The interwebs might not be real life, and it might not be all about relationships in the same way that it is in the Pentagon. But LinkedIn is a valuable tool in our modern world. And now that we've talked about how to time your LinkedIn Premier account, it might be a good idea to spend some time thinking about how to time your leave plan. And if you're interested in that, watch this video.